I recently discovered Adobe had made a small change in Photoshop that had passed me by. The thing is, this small change can make a big difference to your editing. In this video, I'll explain how to use the hue saturation adjustment layer, then I'll look at how this new feature works and why it's so important. Let's get started. We're starting with a quick overview of the hue saturation layer. That's because you need to know a few important points for the rest of this video to make sense. To add a hue saturation layer to the image, click the New Adjustment Layer icon at the bottom of the Layers panel. Then, in the pop-up list, choose the Hue Saturation option. We then see the new layer added to the image in the Layers panel. When the layer is selected, we see its controls in the Properties panel. Along the top, we have a row of coloured discs representing different colour ranges we can target in the image. By default, the first of these on the left is selected. If you look at this icon, you can see that it looks like a colour wheel. That's because it represents all the colours in the image. When this disc is selected, any adjustments we make to the hue, saturation or lightness sliders are applied to every colour. For example, if we move the saturation slider to the right, we increase the saturation of the entire image, and if we move it left, we reduce the saturation. By the way, if you want to quickly reset an adjustment, double-click the slider and it returns to the default setting. Now, the hue saturation layer is designed for adjusting colours based on the HSL colour model. This treats all colours as having three components, which are hue, lightness and saturation, which is why we see these three controls in the panel. Hue is what most people think of as being colour. If I move the hue slider, you can see it shifts the hue components of all the image colours, creating rather strange results. Now this puts a lot of people off using it because the results seem difficult to predict or understand. Don't let this happen because there's an easy way to understand what's happening. Watch these coloured strips along the bottom when I move the slider to the right. Notice that only the bottom strip moves while the top strip stays the same. The top strip represents the original or before colours in the image, while the bottom strip shows the new or after colours once the adjustment is applied. For example, in the image we can see that the sky has now turned pink. If we check the blue on the top colour strip, we can see pink is now below it. Another example is if we look at the orange and yellow area of the top strip. Immediately below this, we see green. That's why the rocks and trees have turned green. The only problem with adjusting colours like this is that the hue slider is extremely sensitive. It's fine for changing the colour of a car from say red to green, but it's not well designed for small colour corrections. Most colour corrections would probably only need a couple of degrees adjustment at most. Do remember that because it's important. The final thing that you need to know about the hue saturation layer is that we can target and adjust individual colours. We just click the coloured disc we want to target. Look at what happens when I click the blue disc, for example. First, the colours behind the sliders change to reflect the target colour. Then at the bottom where we have the coloured strips, we see a group of range markers. These also indicate the target colour for the adjustment. Now watch as I move the hue slider to the right and to pink. This causes the sky in the image to turn pink, and the colour behind the sliders also turns pink to show the result of the adjustment. The other thing that we see is that the bottom strip below the range markers has now turned pink. This is showing us that what was blue in the image has turned pink. But because our range marker restricts the adjustment to just the blue area of the strip, nothing else changes. Look over at the orange and yellow area, for example. There's no change to the bottom strip, telling us that those colours in the image aren't affected by this adjustment. Let's reset the hue slider now because it's time to explain the changes Adobe made in Photoshop 2025. For that, we need to click the preset list. That's where we'll find the prominent colours option. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably ignore the default Adobe presets, and that's why I missed this change. But this isn't like one of the other presets in the list. Watch what happens when I select it. Photoshop now analyses the image, and after a moment we see the coloured discs replaced with new colours. These are the prominent or most important colours in this image. Previously, if we'd wanted to do this, we would need to have uploaded our image to the Adobe Colour website to extract the colour theme. At this point, you may be wondering, why is this so important? Well, if you are, the answer to that question lies in colour theory. You see, if we map these values onto a colour wheel, we can see they fall into two groups. And those two groups are opposite each other on the colour wheel. In other words, this image has complementary colour harmony, which is why the colours work so well. But there's more to it than that, because we can now use the hue saturation controls to target and adjust these prominent colours in the image to change the feel. Now, look more closely at the colour wheel and where our prominent colours map onto it. We see two blue colours having almost identical hue values. It's just that one of them's more saturated than the other. We then have our cluster of browns, all of which are very similar. Looking at just the colours in an individual group, they're said to be analogous, which is another colour harmony. But supposing one of these colours wasn't so close and was off to one side. This is where we could use the hue saturation layer to select and shift it more towards the others. Although the colours in this image harmonise well, let's target the yellow of the grass to see how it works. Now we can shift the hue by just a couple of degrees, moving it towards red. Remember what I said earlier, you only need to shift the hue by a few degrees. We'll also boost the saturation a bit. Now let's target the blue of the sky, selecting the more saturated of the two colours. As the two colours are very close already, we'll just reduce the saturation a bit. What this gives us is an image much closer to the colours and colour intensity that I remember when I shot this scene. Now, let me give you a couple of things to watch out for if you decide to use this technique. It's very tempting to click multiple prominent colours, but I don't recommend you do that. To understand why, we need to take a quick look back at the colour wheel. Notice we have two groups of colours and that the hues within each group are close together. Now compare this with our hue saturation layer, where we see the same two groups of colours. What we should do is restrict ourselves to adjusting only one prominent colour in each group. If we adjust two or more colours in a group, the adjustments conflict with each other. Watch the colour indicator at the bottom of the panel as I select the different brown discs. Notice the range indicator hardly moves. That's because all the colours have a similar hue component. This means that if we apply an adjustment to two or more of these colour ranges, those adjustments will have a cumulative effect. You can probably see this most clearly if I select the dark brown disc and just increase the saturation. Notice how it has a much larger effect than you might expect. That's because it's also affected by the saturation adjustment we applied to the light brown disc. To keep things under control, only adjust one colour from each group. Now, the other problem that you might encounter when using the hue saturation layer is that the lightness control doesn't work the way you expect. Watch what happens when I move the slider right to lighten the colour in the image. It doesn't seem to lighten it, it just seems to suck the colour out of it. That's because the adjustment works by adding either white or black to the colour. The way to counter this is to adjust the saturation. By adding the saturation back in, we can easily fix the problem. Look at the difference now if I turn the layer off and on. But to really make this image pop, I can also add a curves layer. Now, to understand how that really works, you need to watch this video next. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to visit my website, the address is in the YouTube description. I'll see you soon for another video.